Hello, it's Weekend Handicapper from weekendhandicapper.com. In today's video, we're going to talk about how low can you go as far as the odds are concerned. But as always, before we get started, if you hadn't already, subscribe to this YouTube channel. And that way you get the latest tutorials and articles and advice from the Weekend Handicapper and weekendhandicapper.com. So people ask me all the time, what's the minimum odds I should bet on when I'm betting on horses? What's the odds that say, I'm done, no, I'm not going to bet this race because the odds are simply too low and it's just really not worth it. If I'm right, I won't make that much money, and the fact that it's still gambling, it's still a risk, you are running, the risk reward isn't that great, you know. So what are those odds? Well, we do know that favorites win horse races about a third of the time. And usually that's a good thing if you're right a third of the time in horse racing. But simply the odds of favorites don't make you profit enough when you lose the other times, when those favorites don't win. So most successful handicappers over the long term are handicappers who try to beat the favorite. They don't play the favorites. But inevitably, some races, you just can't get around the favorite, and you really like the horse, so you're really confident, and you want to bet that horse. Then you want to know what's the cutoff point as far as the odds go. So in my experience, I tried not to bet any horse below 5-2 odds. That's my cutoff point. If it goes below 5-2 odds, let's say 9-5, 8-5, which happens, and I still keep my bet on, because you know when they finally enter the gate and leave the gate, the odds, the final money comes in. Sometimes it knocks your odds down to 9-5 or sometimes 8-5, and I'm upset, and I hope that horse wins, because I would have never bet on that horse at 8-5 or 9-5. But at 5-2. I think it's a good bet. So me personally, I try not to bet on horses, win bets below 5-2 odds. I try to make that a habit. Does it always happen? No, I can't dictate the odds right at post time when they leave the gate, when that late money comes in. So every now and then I'm forced, my bet is lower than 5-2, but it wasn't when I bet it. So 5-2 is usually, or higher, are the bets I try to make in wins. Now, if I really like a horse, if I'm confident in it, if I think that horse is going to be below 5-2, go off at 8-5, 9-5, I'll try to hook that horse up in exactas. So I'll put that horse on top and try to get some more prices underneath to boost the prices of that favorite. But never 3-5. I'm not even going to bring up 1-9. That's ridiculous. Those sorts of horses I try to stay away from. I just wait on other races where there is more value. There's plenty of races out there. Why should I be stuck betting a 3-5 horse or a 1-9 horse? That makes no sense at all with all these races out there. Now, one thing, caveat I will say though, especially if you guys and gals out there, if you're playing these small tracks, I mean, you're very, very limited. I mean, those odds change. Like, there's certain tracks, I won't name them, but I'll play them every now and then, that I've seen those odds. Ooh, this horse is going off at 4-1. This is great. I'm going to put a decent win wager on this horse. And then in a blink of an eye, this horse is down to even money or 8-5, and there's no way I would play that horse. So if you like playing small tracks, or if you live around a track and it's a small track and that's the one that you like going to, then you really got to be careful. And unfortunately, you're going to be stuck with some short prices on some horses if you do your handicapping right, and you predict those horses that have the most likely chance of winning, then more than likely other people is going to see the same things and bet on that same horse. And that price, which you thought was going to be nice at 3-1, 4-1, 5-2, it doesn't take much in those small tracks with those pools for that price to go down, drop to 8 to 5, 9 to 5. So one of the most fundamental tenets of handicapping is knowing when to say, no, I don't want to bet this horse at 8 to 5. It's not a good bet. And yes, I'm going to bet this horse because it is a good bet at 3 to 1 or 4 to 1. That's a fundamental tenet of handicapping, and you want to get good at that. Unfortunately, at small tracks and other tracks, those odds swing. It doesn't take much to make those odds swing. So you can have the same horse 8 to 5 and the same horse going off at 3 to 1. Their outcome's probably going to be the same. Their chances of winning are going to be the same, but the public determines the odds, and it's a no-go at 8 to 5, and it's a really good bet at 3 to 1 or 4 to 1. Get used to thinking like that. So 5 to 2 is usually my cutoff point for win wagers. If I think the price on the horse that I really like is going to go below 5 to 2, then I'm going to have some exactas with some value added onto them. Going to be looking at the exacta pools, trying to find some values to boost my prices and profits up. But more than likely, I would just skip the race and wait for a horse that's going to stay 3 to 1 or 5 to 2 or higher. And there's plenty of races out there still, luckily, that have those opportunities. So be patient. If your horse goes below 5 to 2, just skip it for the most part. Unless you really like that horse, then that's up to you, But I wouldn't make it a habit of betting on horses below 5 to 2 because you're not going to profit enough to keep, unless you have some crazy win streak. You got to hit at a really good percentage to make some money off any horse below 5 to 2 in straight win bets. So I would love to hear your cutoff point. How low do you go as far as betting on horses? What's the minimum odds that you bet? Some players out there, they love 8 to 5s and 9 to 5s, and they'll bet a lot on those 8 to 5s, 9 to 5s. I try to go the other way for the most part. So I would love to hear what minimum odds that you accept when you make your win wagers at the track. So if you hadn't already, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Check out weekendhandicapper.com. And until next time, happy handicapping, smart wagering, and try to bet on horses at 5 to 2 or higher.